What does it take to build the house of the future? In September 2011, university students from across the globe converged in Washington, D.C. to find out in the bi-yearly U.S. Department of Energy Solar Decathlon competition. FIU was one of 19 schools selected from across the globe to build a house for the competition, which will put their design to the test, but will also serve as an exhibit for eco-friendly architecture and technology.
It's kind of like the World's Fair of design and the World's Fair of engineering. And without that type of a showcase, there really isn't going to be a push for solar design or passive architecture. We have to continue to showcase these types of things to the general public.
It's probably the ultimate learning experience for students in the design fields. They've been able to meet professional challenges, sort of find and discover in themselves the ability to resolve them. And I think that that's an incredible learning experience, both for a professional and for an individual.
But the journey of these students and their house began long before anyone stepped foot in the nation's capital. It began more than 1,000 miles away, in Miami.
The Solar Decathlon project was a studio assignment that we had about a year ago, part of the architecture studio. We were charged to design a small house. One of the designs was selected, and then last summer, a group of about 15 to 20 students began developing that schematic design into a conceptual design and then into design development until we got to the construction phase.
We've developed this house specifically to live in Miami, even though it's competing in Washington, D.C. And that includes having very open spaces, lots of free air, a very large deck you can utilize that is constantly shaded. At no point will this house ever be completely exposed to the sun, reducing the heat load on the house, reducing the heat on yourself, and really keeping the cost down.
The house is never exposed to direct sunlight due to one of its key features: operable louvers that can be raised and lowered as needed.
The intention was to have an easy-to-use hurricane protection system for the house. So when they're down, they offer privacy and shading for the interior, and they offer hurricane protection. The neat thing about these is instead of packing them up and putting them away in your garage, you can roll them up, lift them up, and they offer shade all around the deck.
Our solar panel system is very, very efficient, very, very powerful for its size. We can generate almost 9 kilowatts per hour of energy, and that is more than enough power to run a very efficient home. We have a solar thermal system that heats up our hot water so we don't have to use electric power.
Almost as soon as construction was finished, did the team start to disassemble the house. The two halves were loaded onto trucks for their 3.5-day journey. Once the pieces arrive in DC, students have 1 week to get the house ready for competition and the public exhibit.
This morning, our two houses arrived, and part one, absolutely perfect. Part two, the driver had a small mishap. He backed into a light post. We've yet to see the extent of the damage, but I believe there is some, and we will need to be resourceful in finding a way to fix it.
Right now, our goal is more of the exterior more than the interiors. We had to bolt the house, we had to start working on the roof, complete the nano walls, which are really important to seal the interior of the house.
Students also have to deal with constant site visits and inspections.
The site inspection, they actually look and walk one by one and look for any screws, anything that falls on the floor.
It's very hectic because it's not just getting the house fixed. We all have to worry about the logistics, where we can find food, how we can deliver food and get from one place to another, and have a good time doing that.
We're all students, and it's been a real experience because it's very different just to design something on a paper than actually design and be able to see it built, be able to actually materialize it.
With the nano walls in place, the next day brings more trucks, carrying deck pieces, water tanks, and other exterior features.
Because there's 20 other teams with anywhere between 3 and 5, 10, actually in some cases 20 trucks, we've got to coordinate that schedule with their availability and ours. So So that has put us back maybe a day behind schedule.
A lot of the guys that are doing the deck right now are the construction management program. So a lot of us had our classes together, we graduated together. We work great. You know, Ryan's our leader. He has over 10 years experience in construction.
You know, we know what's got to be done. I'm looking at this deck and I see 6 pieces right now, and I know there's 25 others roughly with some planters and the little things that have to be done before tomorrow morning. You know, it's not an 8-hour shift, it's not a 12-hour shift, it's until we get it done. So
On this day, and on most, the team works well into the night.
We have now a good portion of the north side of the deck set, level. Since it's in so many pieces, it's hard to set them all perfectly straight. We had a little bit of trouble with that today, but I think we've worked it out, and tomorrow morning we can rock and roll.
After a hard day's work, the team heads home.
About 1,000 square feet of deck today. The solar Decathlon home is on track moving forward. We have now surpassed half the schools that we're competing against.
We don't really live at the house. We stop by, take a shower, go back, maybe sleep a little.
I was getting worried because one foundation was like that, the other one's sort of going like this, and I was like on either side of me.
I think you might want to fix that. Yeah. We're all in different shifts too, night shift, day shift, so we don't really collide that often, I think.
The next morning, it's back to work, finishing up the louvers and deck.
It's been a really busy week, starting from behind, but we're catching up quite quickly.
With the exterior coming together, the team begins working on the indoors.
Very good team building skills are made with projects like these. It's a great feeling to do something for the community, for your school, for your alma mater. And you know, at the end of the day, when you see something like this in the middle of 20 schools, prestigious schools, it makes you feel proud.
3 days later, the house was opened for public tours and the competition officially began.
During the competition days, you have to do tours. You have to make sure that you represent the university with pride. You know, it's an honor for us to be here, and we appreciate the support of the university.
Today we're competing in most of the contests that we've been competing in all week. We actually are measuring temperature and humidity right now. We are also washing and drying clothes today. We have a certain amount of time to wash and dry the towels that are given to us. All of these contests are to simulate use of the house, just as if you were living in the house. So you're washing clothes, you're running the dishwasher. We actually have cooked some meals and had dinner parties for 8 people.
As part of the entertainment, there is the dinner parties competition. It's 2 dinner parties, and there's also the movie nights. This is the second dinner party. We basically invite 2 students from the other schools that are actually our neighbors.
On the last night of competition, the team hosted an open house for alumni and decathletes from other universities.
The team right now is at 12th place out of 19. And so far it has been a roller coaster because we've been in 4th the first few hours. We dropped all the way to last place, and we've been climbing up. We just jumped from 15 to 12 in the past few minutes.
I think it's amazing to see it from, you know, just the shell. I mean, honestly, from the design on a piece of paper, and then to see, you know, it go up really slowly and then completely finished like this. It's awesome.
The amazing feature is the indoor-outdoor effect the house gives, because when these amazing doors are, you know, open back, the sky's the limit.
2011 Solar Decathlon, first place, University of Maryland.
While Team FIU did not place in the top 3, they did tie for first in the energy balance competition and produced the most solar power of all the houses.
I think we did well. I mean, we had some challenges and we overcame them. Towards the middle of the week, we were kind of low on the scale, but we significantly stepped it up, and we did well with 11th.
It has been a tremendous learning experience. At least for someone like me, I never worked in a firm. So seeing a project from design to documents to construction has been great for my formation as an architect.
Would you do it again?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. It's exhausting. I'm really tired. But I think it's very rewarding, really important. FIU should be out here making its presence known. People should know what we are about, what we're doing, what we're capable of, and opportunities like this make it possible.